first thing for me was I recognized, I don't know why I didn't recognize it before, but how big of an industry the concrete business is. And I think being at that convention that was that big with that many people and that many displays really reopened my eyes to that there's a lot more. We're niche. We're in the pool business, which is pretty small. Think about pools versus anything that's built with concrete. There's no comparison. And for me, that was what I was in awe with. And I know we spent several days just walking around, and I'm sure we didn't see most of what was there.
Yeah, I remember, what was I think I was, at that was the winter I was working on most of the cars or something. You just call, you go, hey, I'll go to Vegas for like World of Concrete, and I'm like, sure, no idea what that is, but sounds like a good time. So we went and just, it was fun. Even just say like competitions, you see the masons racing against each other, laying brick or whatever. All of the different types of equipment, trucks, everything that's there. Like you said, it's like it opens up your eyes to the idea that, damn, concrete goes into a lot.
Well, yeah, I know for me, after that event, I thought an awful lot about concrete. And when I came back and talked to John Guidabono here in town, local concrete delivery company, and he talked about how everything starts with concrete. Not a building is built without concrete first being put down. Footings, all of the things related to an understructure. You might have a steel building or a wood building, but it's all sitting on concrete. And that was kind of like an eye-opener for me that, wow, everything starts with concrete.
Oh yeah, even bridges. If you think
everything,
a lot of those, I don't remember what they call, but when they sink them in the water and they pump them out, I mean, you're talking about concrete circles. You're basically dropping in there.
Yep, and it's amazing how much of our world is resting on concrete, and the net result of concrete allows us to build some of the greatest stuff in the world. I think for me that was a big eye-opener, and then we've been several times since, and it's been well worth it.
Yeah, well, and then the other thing, like for us, like you said, about being very niche, the pool company and whatnot, by going to events like this that are so much larger, where they can open your eyes to, say, the rest of the industry or the world or whatever we're talking about, it helps us grow and kind of build on top of what we already do, as opposed to kind of sticking with what we know. So I mean, like you've said many times before, is people don't know what they don't know. Yeah. So the whole idea is, like, when especially you're talking to prospective customers or anything else, is the reason why we can do the things that we do is because of the chances that we take and the idea that we look outside of just our industries.
We put ourselves in a position to see something new. And that's certainly one thing about the show, as much as we talk about going to the pool shows and the importance of just seeing it. Not like you're going there as if you've never seen most of the stuff. We've seen most of it. But even a pool show, we see something new every year, and that's education for us. But I think the concrete show is the same. There's so much more that we don't know how to do, and we're exposed to it, and therefore we try it.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of gives us an edge because we're continually trying things.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the same thing, what we've said, plenty of times in the past is, if we still did the same things that we did, say, 10, 20 years ago or whatever, then we wouldn't be doing this anymore.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. If the business had to be what it was then, in terms of the type of the market that we were servicing then, we wouldn't. I don't think any of us would find enough joy in it to even get up to go to work, let alone needing to make money and everything else. And because we keep exposing ourselves to new things, we're seeing what more we can do and how much more fun we can have.
Well, part of the reason for, quote unquote, pushing the envelope or doing something more is just to keep our own interest.
Yeah, it keeps us all inspired. And if we all get stagnant, there's just decline in the future. But if we can stay inspired, we have all this potential, and that's what I think this show this year will do, much like in the past years, is just inspire us to try something more, try something new. We may see a product that we can use and use in a different way, but I think it's just being exposed to it will give us more options.
It'll also be interesting considering we're going with a larger crew than we usually do this year.
It's true.
So it'll be interesting to see what their points of view are.
There'll be a lot more points of view this time.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, we've seen the same stuff and gone over the same stuff over and over, where we can pretty much look at something, look at each other, and know exactly what we're thinking.
It is, right?
So to see, especially some people who haven't been around the industry as long, seeing what kind of thoughts they'll have.
I think what's really interesting thinking about that is the new members that are going, they know our niche.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all they know. They've been to pool shows, so they kind of know that. But this is going to change their world in terms of who uses concrete and what it's used for. When there's building after building after building of all different types of stuff, and it will be interesting from their perspective hearing what they think afterwards, just in terms of how big of an industry that is. I don't think any of them have really thought about, beyond our industry, how does concrete involve the rest of the world, like maybe you and I have because we've been exposed to it. But I think now they'll realize how big that industry is and how much is built with concrete. And I think that's going to be kind of fun.